We chose our topic to be the economic benefits of federal legalization of marijuana. We chose this topic because we know it's a pretty controversial issue throughout modern society, especially amongst our generation, and collectively we see that the benefits and business opportunities that legalization at a higher level could bring to our economy. So there's more to it than just its medical uses. By this, I'm referring to the sort of image that society has created for marijuana and its benefits up to this point in our society. Very few are educated on the actual economic benefits that the marijuana industry can provide once legislation actually reaches the federal level. Instead, people assume that the beneficial uses of marijuana are strictly its medical uses, which is the primary reason why most states only want to see it become legal at medical level. People become opposed to recreational legalization because they associate it with the sort of stigma behind smoking marijuana, which then leaves them with no interest in considering it to become legal at the federal level. But what a lot of people don't know about marijuana is that it has various other forms of uses, all of which have the potential to benefit our economy and its growth. Such as various industrial uses, it can increase tax revenues, it can reduce government spending, and it also puts better use of law enforcement. So it's time for society to end the stereotypes on marijuana and start taking advantages of the various uses that this natural resource has to offer us. That being said, I'm going to hand it off to John to further explain to you how marijuana is how its current legal status puts restrictions on a number of these laws.
After learning about all the different benefits that marijuana has to offer, you might ask yourself, why isn't it, what is going on? What is restricting us from fully obtaining these economic benefits of the marijuana industry? And the answer is it's still not legal at a federal level. Even though the states have legalized it for recreational and medical purposes, we're still restricting the benefits that we could possibly have on our economy. First off is trade and business trafficking. We're not allowed to pass any hemp marijuana products past state lines, so that's really hindering us. Business expenses, since the federal law prevents us from taking deductions or credit from a trade or business that consists of trafficking in controlled substances. Marijuana is listed as a controlled substance under federal law, and they won't let you deduct those legitimate business expenses that are allowed. Also, banking. There's a strong issue regarding banking and the availability of financial services offered to businesses in the marijuana industry. Federal law prevents federally chartered banks and credit unions from providing financial services in the marijuana industry, which is considered money laundering, and that deprives business access to the normal services that companies rely on to grow and operate efficiently. These are a few examples of the restrictions of all the conflict between the state and federal laws we have today, and each one restricts the ability of the potential growth and benefits to occur amongst the marijuana industry. However, if we change these laws, we'll be giving our economy the opportunity to benefit from the upcoming business industry. Next we have Sofoklis, and he will be talking about the conflict of the current state and federal laws.
So what's next? So what do we mean by this? What can we do for our next move to bring a closer solution that will bring numerous economic benefits to the industry that it has potential to? It's pretty simple actually. We just have to move past the stigma of just marijuana in general and look at the actual benefits and start recognizing what potentials that it actually has throughout the industry. And what it can actually do for our nation as a whole. And we have some specific federal legalization that has the ability to bring it to the U.S. economy. So one of those things is tax revenue. So it's predicted that if marijuana was legalized federally, that'd bring 1.5 billion in federal revenue and an additional 1 billion in state revenue. So all those extra tax revenues being brought in can be used for different types of like schools or something that can also help along just with the state or the nation in general. Also, another thing is better use of government and state spending and law enforcement. So if we don't have as much time and effort focused on marijuana and more focused on harder drugs, then basically that just eliminates those resources being utilized for something that would be legal at that point if it goes federally. Because we spend nearly 7.7 billion worth on just marijuana itself, and also that leads a lot to more arrests. So that is overpopulation in prisons, which is a problem that we have in the U.S. today. Also, another thing is potential industry use. So with marijuana, the potential industry use is called hemp. So basically that's it's derived from the marijuana plant, but it could be used to create different plastics, paper, fuels, rope. Like currently we use for big boats that we currently tie to docks, we use like hemp rope for that currently. So that's a whole other potential industry that can be that could be opened up into the economy for the U.S. And also aid in decreasing federal deficit. So with government savings could be as much as 13 billion. That's just like prohibition on marijuana, and all that extra money could be used for better resources also, like what we said earlier, for law enforcement or anything along those, whatever we need to do with those monies. And I'm gonna put up a slide that we have with the graph, and I'll just explain it a little bit to you after. So here we're looking at this chart what is it? Is this a chart? Is that what it would be?
I said diagram.
Diagram?
Picture, yeah.
Yo, peep this diagram.
Yo, check out this gram, dog. So here we're looking at this diagram that we basically breaks down the minor uses for hemp plant, and we look at the industrial, consumer, agriculture uses, and you just see a wide variety of what can be created from this plant, and we just see that it opens up a whole other industry of organic products that can be made. And also, what is also good is that we can use hemp, we can grow hemp. 1 acre of hemp is actually equal to about 4 acres of trees for paper. So just like something, that's also like one of the beneficial things that could have a high potential, is making these better products that we could be using and helping our environment.
The federal legalization of marijuana is possible. There are ways to get involved to get this law changed, but it takes putting steps into action. Currently, there are only 8 states where marijuana is legal. These states include Colorado, Maine, Nevada, Oregon, Alaska, Washington, California, and I put Alaska twice. They can put that out. And out of the 50 states, only 28 allow for the use of medical marijuana. It is important to stay informed. The law can only change if people take action. Raise your voice, sign petitions. There are websites such as petitions.moveon.org, which petition for certain states to legalize marijuana in that state, which is a step in the right direction. As mentioned before, there are many benefits to the legalization of marijuana. If you live in a state where marijuana is legalized, you can see those benefits. That's why spreading the word and educating others is so important. Many people are too used to the stigma associated with marijuana, but when you present people with some of the facts we have mentioned previously, there's no denying that the negatives are far outweighed by the positives. You went up.
Press space.
You went up.
We go to the downer.
We live in a state in Massachusetts where marijuana is legal, but there are plenty of states where it's not legal for medical or recreational use. The people who live in these states can vote yes for any Marijuana Prohibition Act H.R. 1227. This act eliminates federal criminal penalties for possessing and growing the plant and gives states the authority to regulate the plant how they see is best.
So what are some standpoints and views that you have on this issue after this presentation and informing you with all this information?